some of the technical challenges. We've got a clicker, Jen, yes. Great, okay. Very good. Well, probably, maybe you'll seen some of this stuff before, a lot of it. But let's start off with talking about urban planning, because that's, it seems to me, to know people. And I like to think about the road network as having sort of a strategic backbone of motorways, we call it strategic road network. And really connected to that is a bunch of cities. There's London down there and Cambridge on just the same size. And in cities, we can do deliveries using electric vehicles easily. They could be home delivery, parcel delivery vehicles, deliveries to convenience stores and supermarkets, rubbish trucks, refuse vehicles. These can all be electric. They can all charge up in a depot. Occasionally, some opportunity charging through the day is advantageous. But these are rolling out now, and they're building technologies and supply chains and charging infrastructure for high capacity vehicles. So this seems to be a done deal. Within the next 10 years, we'll all of our urban vehicles and buses will have to be electric. The question is, what do we do about the long haul? And there's a few presentations in this session talking about electric roads. I'm going to talk about electric roads as well. But I want to try and describe the problem of integrating the charging and coming to an integrated charging system for the country. And I'm going to use the UK for that. And I'm going to use some work that we recently printed a lot of this. I've got Cebon under and talking about modeling some aspects of the electrified logistics. So I like this picture from Siemens because this reminds me that we could have a sensible strategy for modular electric vehicles that could go anywhere in the world. And you know, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are electric vehicles that have the same electric drivetrain and battery. They have a fuel cell on the back, which you can think of as being a range extender. But you could also use HBO or gas, biogas, or even diesel range extender in some circumstances. And then you can, if you add a pantograph to the top, you've got the option of running on the contact lines, on the range extender, on battery, and that combination of technologies is good enough to go pretty much anywhere in the world, as far as I can see. If you had vehicles like that, you could run them across the outback of Australia, you could run them into city centres on electric that would work well. So that doesn't seem to be policy at the moment, and particularly the range extension part. I think policy is not current vehicle manufacturers' strategy, but it is something we should be thinking about, particularly adding those range extenders onto vehicles. That really changes things. But without that, we can do straight electric operations. The challenge in doing this is actually not the electric road part, but it's what happens off the electric road that's the problem. So here's a little kind of model of a possible electric road network for the UK, and it highlights the point that there's a range of battery operated operations that you need to satisfy once you get off the network. And of course, it's not just in one place, but it is all around the country where you've got bits of network which you can't run on using the electric road infrastructure. And what you need to do in those places is have some sort of static charging, so you can charge those vehicles in warehouses or in public places, charging places. And whatever happens on electrified transport, it's going to be somewhere between across this continuum, because you can have a short electric road network, in which case you have to have bigger batteries on 200,000 trucks, or you can, and lots of external static charging, or you can have a long electric road network, in which case you've got smaller batteries for all those trucks and fewer static charges. And somewhere in between that, in that continuum, is an optimal solution which minimizes the cost for everybody. So we've done a bit of a study. We looked at 3 different ERS networks. We call them light, medium, and heavy. The light one has got a relatively small proportion of the really busy roads, busy truck roads. And as you go, you get more of these, more electric road network, and a network of static charges, which is also modeled over the black dots. And Chris developed a brilliant model of all this. And I'm not really going to go through the details, but I'll just point out here that we've got all kinds of, this is a journey, a logistics journey. There's all kinds of opportunities where you might drop a load, where you might have a rest stop, you might have a depot. And all those opportunities, you can charge the vehicle. And the battery, what you can see up here is the speed profile of the vehicle. You know, for example, here, speed goes to 0 and you have a drop and you can charge up. And you can see charging events going on here with battery charges. This is the charging the battery, charging events, and running events, and all the different things that go on. So this is a pretty comprehensive charging model. Now we've used this to look at lots of journeys in the UK, but here is one. This is the journey by operator H. And operator H is based down here with this red dot. And this journey is 18 hours in the life of one of their trucks. So it's not one journey, it's a number of journeys, but it's a whole day, two shifts for this truck. So it starts off at the red dot and goes down here out to the west and drops the load, and then comes back again. And goes down to the south and drops the load, and then it comes up and goes all the way up and around the M25 around London, up to Chelmsford in Essex, and then it goes back again. That all takes 18 hours. And you can look at different ways of charging the vehicle during this journey. So if you just charge it in the depot overnight, and then say we're just going to run it like a diesel truck or run all day, it would need a 1,666 kilowatt hour, 1.6 megawatt hour battery. And that is 1 megawatt hour bigger than any truck in that. It makes an outvoice like in the future. So we're in the near future. So that's completely impossible. There's no question in doing this by charging overnight. So what if we do other things? If we were to charge at the drop-off sites at 600 kilowatts at the fast charger, at the drop-off sites, we're charging at 3 drop-off sites, 1, 2, 3, then we would need a 400 kilowatt hour battery. And that is a reasonable size of battery for an electric car. Big battery, all the same, but they are putting those on the cars. If we charge just at public rest stops after the 4.5 hour break point the driver has to take, we would stop at these other 2 blue triangles here, and that would need a battery of 800 kilowatt hours. That is a big battery, that's significantly bigger than you can get on a car now. And the reason you need 800 kilowatt hours is simply that if you drive it for 4.5 hours typical electricity consumption for a 44-ton truck, that's what you need. You need 800 kilowatt hours. It's a lot, and it's bigger than is available now. So we can see from that if that's the only option you've got, that's public charging, you're probably not going to be able to do this journey. You're going to have something other than public charging to do the job. And if you charge at both drop-offs and rest stops, it doesn't make very much difference, and the reasons are subtle, but it's got to do with order in which things happen and when they happen in this journey. If we add in the electric road system, the light electric road is just had the M25 electrified here. But what that does is eases the situation. Instead of 1.6, 1.7 megawatts watt hours for depot only charging, that's come down to 1 megawatt hour, which is still impossible, but getting into the range of plausibility. But you can see that if we also charge at the drop-off sites, we're down to 240 kilowatt hours. That's the size of the battery in plus, and that is an manageable size. Again, if we just charge a couple of rest stops, we still need our 794, and that's because that 794 is added up in the early part of the journey. That's when you need it, and having the ERS in the late part of the journey doesn't make any difference. So that means for that early in the journey. And so the story continues. If you add more ERS, the battery size is coming down. With the medium, well, just down to this heavy ERS. Now the M3 motorway down here is electrified, and whatever this motorway is down this bit is also electrified. And battery sizes have come down with no static charging, no charging anywhere other than on ERS. We only need 224 kilowatt hour battery plus size, and with charging at the drop-off sites as well, we're down to 80 kilowatt hours over that area. So you can see that this is all about charging. It's not about the truck at all. It's all about charging and where you can charge the vehicle. The more ERS you have, the smaller the batteries are. And this is a distribution of battery sizes. If you look at a whole bunch of other different things as well. Let me show you this one on the right. What we can see here is this is with no ERS. You can see this is the probability distribution or histogram. You can see some batteries right up here. You probably have to read this. That's 1,500 kilowatt hours around where everything is. The mean is 600 kilowatt hours, and 90% of batteries are less than 1.1 megawatt hours. So they're big batteries. If you don't have any ERS, you've got big batteries needed for the journeys. But if you have ERS and destination charging, then our batteries come down to 300 kilowatt hours, 90% of batteries less than 300 kilowatt hours, which is a small manageable battery, and a mean of 150 kilowatt hours. So the effect of the ERS is to reduce battery sizes and also to significantly change the charging that you need to do. Here's the total cost of ownership graph, which shows the total cost of the 6-year first life of the vehicle. So assume that it's 6 years from purchase to sale, first sale. This is the cost of buying the vehicle, powering it for 6 years, but it's still getting whatever funding back doesn't account for the drive cost of the driving. And we can see 2030 to 2050 here. So the horizontal line is baseline of diesel. Costs, we reckon, about £400,000 to buy a diesel truck to run it, to drop 40,000 pounds of fuel in it every year, and to sell it again at the end of 6 years, about £400,000. This one here is the fuel cell truck. I haven't talked about those. I'll get away from the high word in this presentation, so I won't talk about that more, except to say that our predictions are there is no way that it can reach parity with diesel by 2050 because of the cost of energy. Battery electric vehicle with 1.2 megawatt hour battery won't catch up with diesel. But when you come to smaller batteries, 150 kilowatt hours, 300 kilowatt hours, 500 kilowatt hour batteries with ERS, the total cost of ownership is less than diesel, really from the beginning of the line, from 2030. 2030 onwards, we should have parity with better than diesel. Of course, if if we're above the line, then logistics got more expensive than running on diesel, and quite likely to need some sort of subsidy. If we go below the line, we have some headroom for tax revenue generation. And of course, that's important because as we get electric vehicles into the mix, the diesel excise duty, which the government relies upon as part of the national finances, that's going away, and they need to find an alternative source for funding, and that can come from the headroom that is provided by the extra efficiency of the electric operation. So just to draw some conclusions, and say one or two of the things, 42-ton battery electric vehicles are available now, 40 or 42 tons depending on what the government allows on weight, but there is a substantial payload loss. The 44-ton diesel can carry about 29 tons. A 40-ton BEV can carry about 42-ton BEV can carry about 22 tons if you don't uniformly load absolute maximum 42 tons. There's a 7-ton loss of payload, and that is very substantial hit on the logistics industry. So anyone who's carrying heavy loads, that is a problem. So we need some weights and dimension changes to get 44 tons or higher. The megawatt charging standard is coming soon, so we're not far away from them. Do that 600 kilowatt charging that I mentioned. And under those circumstances, I'd say that electric is doable in the UK, but at a cost. And the cost comes from the loss of payload and the additional time needed for static charging, unless you can charge at warehouses and from the ERS. But charging is a challenge, and it's clear that truck stop charging is essential. It's necessary, but it's not sufficient. It doesn't get us. Government policy seems to be we'll put charging systems into truck stops and refueling stations, and that will solve the problem. It won't solve the problem at all. It's necessary, but it's from all of these it's very clear that charging at warehouses on the dock while you're loading is going to be essential. So the warehouse charging is essential. That warehouse charging has got a big challenge associated with it. There's about 30,000 warehouses in the UK which are bigger than 2,000 square meters, so they're big enough to need truck charging. Those 30,000 warehouses are going to need big electricity grid connections. Some of them will need 20 megawatt grid connections. They're very expensive things to do. And the challenge is, of course, that you've got thousands of different companies, some of whom own trucks and lease trucks, some of whom just own warehouses, and they all have to agree together somehow, simultaneously, that they're going to install big fat electricity connections in their warehouses. And it seems to me that isn't going to happen. It's a really very problematic thing to happen. Not least because, in many cases, it will be cheaper to move the warehouse to the electricity than it will be moved to move the electricity to the warehouse. So there's a really major infrastructure problem here. We can watch over it and say, no worries, gas will do the job, but actually, you really have to get vast amount of electricity into warehouses, and that is completely non-trivial, particularly when the electricity supply industry is completely choked with other connection problems. They don't have capacity to install 20,000 grid connections into warehouses. So that is a really big problem. The ERS, of course, completely solves that problem. Because now instead of 30,000 warehouses full of static chargers, we have maybe 100 key grid connections where we connect up the warehouse, and everybody charges on the ERS. And they don't have to charge on the warehouse, they don't have to stop to charge. They can carry 44 tons, or they carry 29 tons for a 44-ton vehicle. So the ERS actually solves all of these problems. It's the lowest cost, lowest carbon, lowest weight solution. It has low technology risk. Schemes have been running these trials in Germany for 5, 6, 7 years, and Sweden. It reduces battery size and cost and weight by a factor of 2 or 4, depending on exactly how you use it. It eliminates the loss of payload on that percentage of trucks which are payload limited, weight limited. That's not all trucks, new trucks are in place. So the ones that are carrying powder and steel and chemicals and